Local News 8, your news leader.
Those cops shouldn't supposed to be working or with pay leave. They shouldn't, because they're murderers. They killed my nephew, Victor Jomar Perez Alicea. I don't care what they think. They ruined our life forever.
A series of vigils today after a teen shot by Pocatello police dies. Good evening and welcome to Local News 8. Tonight, our community is mourning the loss of the autistic teenager who was shot by police 1 week ago today. Our Doug Long and Linda Larson spent all day in Pocatello. They're here now. Doug, Linda, so much going on today.
There was so much going on today, Will, and it was a very emotional day in Pocatello.
A lot of activities were going on at several locations all day long.
It started at 9 this morning at the Portneuf Medical Center with a candlelight vigil just before Victor's family took him off life support. A crowd of over 200 quietly sang, said prayers, and consoled each other as Victor peacefully passed away. People at a second candlelight vigil at Victor's home tonight, a more intimate crowd gathered bringing flowers and voicing their support for the family. Victor's Aunt Ana Vasquez spoke out during that second vigil tonight. Here's what she had to say.
They need to give more training to the officers to deal with this type of situation. They just come based on a call, because that's what they did. They didn't even ask us what was the situation. They just react and they shoot to kill. They took 9 bullets out of my nephew. 9 bullets. Couple surgeries. And they amputate a leg. And it's something that is gonna be in my head for the rest of my life.
Anna talked for several minutes to about 75 supporters that were gathered around the home where Victor was shot. As you can see, she was extremely emotional as she talked to the crowd. The fence that separated Victor from the police today was turned into a wall of flowers, and candles lined the streets. This afternoon, hundreds of Victor supporters lined Yellowstone Avenue as well in front of the police station.
Yeah, they waved signs, chanted slogans, waved at honking traffic. But one protester I met had a message for both law enforcement and the community.
I'm here to ask the mayor to make sure that those officers, when they go out, they're trained properly so our children are safe. And, you know, I want those officers and their families to know that you have a community behind you too. We know that you serve us and you're out here trying your best. And we just want the best for our community. It's a time for change.
As we were covering the protest, people started noticing and pointing to 2 figures on top of one of the buildings.
Now, the building was adjacent to the city hall and the police station, and there, several individuals could be seen on top of the roof holding what appeared to be a long gun. Kristen Simone's son was a victim of a police shooting by Pocatello police in 2019. She saw the snipers and walked up to the doors of the police department where she asked why they were there.
There's officers around and surrounding and watching, so there are several officers out there. Okay.
And you've been doing this every protest, been having snipers on the building?
I don't know. This is our first protest we've had in the lot, so I don't know.
Is this normal protocol for you?
For today it is, yes.
Now, the city addressed the need for those snipers. According to a press release, they said that the deployment of officers was a precautionary measure that was taken in response to a credible threat communicated to the Pocatello Police Department by the FBI.
Now, the FBI informed PPD of 1 or more individuals with a known interest in targeting law enforcement officers who were believed to be in the area or near the area at the protest at City Hall. The statement continues. In light of this information, PPD implemented an elevated security posture, which included positioning trained officers at strategic vantage points. And you can read the entire statement right now at localnews8.com. Now, we were live today at about 5:30, and those protests got a little crazy. And here's a clip from earlier today.
Oh, again, we've got the protesters all around us right now. As you can see, this is a situation that is going to continue to be ongoing in our community, and certainly we're going to hope that the community can come together, but right now it looks like there's a long way to go before that happens.
Well, there is a rift, and it's being created right now, and so in the coming week, this is an opportunity now for the city of Pocatello and the police department to try to narrow that, bring it back together, and get folks to understand that they're doing their best to get to the bottom of this, and they're trying to do that.
All right, that's it for here. We'll send it back to you. Now, what you just heard and saw is an example of what can happen when some misinformation is spread through an already upset and angry crowd.
Now, as Linda and I were live on our 5:30 newscast, the crowd of protesters began to surround us, shouting demeaning slurs and insults and profanity. And as soon as the live shot ended, I was confronted by an angry protester. The reason? Well, someone mistakenly thought I was Pocatello Mayor Brian Bladd. Now, we were quickly able to diffuse the situation and make it clear we were news media there to cover the event. But to the credit of the protesters, once they understood that, they immediately apologized for the mistake and calmer heads prevailed.
Yeah, but this is an example of how quickly one wrong piece of information can really inflame an already tense situation.
Absolutely. Now, Paul, who you already heard from earlier in the newscast, was one of the protesters, but he had a very different approach, one of healing and understanding.
As a father and an autistic child, we love you. We're out here fighting for you. We love you guys. You bring joy to us. That's the sad part of losing Victor, is part of that joyfulness got lost. You know, it's taken, and so we need to try to replace that joy with love, not hate. We need love, not hate. Our city needs to heal.
Now, people around the world are hearing about this shooting, and they all want to help out. The GoFundMe page Justice for Victor now has over $33,000 in it. Now, if you want to donate to Victor's family in this time of need, you can look at the link and find it at localnews8.com, and you can leave words of inspiration or words of prayer or anything you'd like to when you make your donation. You can also see all of the coverage of this story in its entirety on our website. You just click the graphic that says Pocatello Police Shooting.
Now, again, this morning started with a peaceful candlelight vigil as supporters of Victor Perez gathered at the Portneuf Medical Center. Here's a look.
Help us through this tragedy of Victor Perez and for the family. Only your grace, only your love, and your omnipotent presence and your mercy can withstand the sorrow that those families facing right now as they gather together at Portneuf Medical Center.
I'm here to support my son, who is autistic. He's on the spectrum, and this really touched him in a way that the good part of it is that now he wants to be part of positive change. It's just sad that we have this tragedy that has to trigger that change.
Folks need to learn more about it and with what they have. That way they can communicate with them more and be able to help process what they're going through and how to help them. Because if they don't, then something like this could possibly happen again somewhere.
I felt like I could trust the police to call them when something's happening, and now I don't want to call the police. I don't trust them. I'm honestly shocked that something like this would happen here.
In our small town where we have always felt so safe, we've born and raised here, it's never felt this way before. It's a very brand new feeling, like you see it on the news and in other places, but just not here.
These police officers that went to Victor Perez's home late that afternoon, you could have taken other measures. For God's sake, you could have taken other measures to prevent this tragedy that's taking place right now.
We're one big family. We need to stand together.
Welcome back. Idaho has been home to two different high-profile murder cases. Boise recently hosting trials for both Lori and Chad Daybell. And this summer, Boise will be hosting the trial of Brian Kohberger. Hear from someone who has a unique perspective with law enforcement experience, working on the Menendez murder trial in the 90s. Alexander Huddleston from our partners at KIVI has the story.
It's been more than 2 years since 4 University of Idaho students were found dead in their Moscow home, shocking the college town community and making headlines around the world.
A quadruple murder happened in the state of Idaho, right? Especially in a college campus up there in Moscow. It's like people couldn't fathom that would happen.
Donald Pernesti lives in Star. He has decades of law enforcement experience, most recently as a Canyon County court marshal. He's also a retired executive diplomatic security agent and spent almost 30 years as a Beverly Hills police officer working some major high-profile murder cases.
OJ was a big case, although it wasn't a Beverly Hills case. It was an LA County case. I personally was involved in the Eric and Lyle Menendez case.
Pernesti, seen here, says he was one of the first officers on the scene. A night forever drilled in his mind.
Absolute terrible scene. Never seen anything like it. Not a whole lot of murders in Beverly Hills, so it was kind of like, okay. A little skeptical on the call, but of course we're going to race there and get to it. The two brothers come running out of the house. They were proned out in the driveway. We established a team to go in and search the house, and true to form, they were in the family room, shotgunned to death. Have nightmares about it to this day. I mean, it was a pretty emotional case.
Given his experience with national headlining cases, I asked for Pernesti's insight of what goes on behind the scenes with the Kohberger trial just months away.
The amount of security that has to go into it is astronomical. And the dollar amount, the price it costs for that security is off the chart.
Evidence transportation and safe storing is just the start. Pernesti says from his experience, evidence coming from Latah County must be escorted and signed in to a safe, locked area under constant supervision. Latah County tells Idaho News 6 that process has already happened.
Even if it's a bag or it's a truck full, right? There is specific rules and laws that need to be followed in transferring that evidence from point A to point B. You can't break the chain of custody.
But it's not just evidence that needs sheltering. For many major murder cases where the death penalty is on the line, like the Kohberger case, the court sequesters the jury.
But the granddaddy, of course, is the O.J. Simpson case, where they had a jury sequestered for 9 months. For potential jury members, it's a long time away from family. The marshal's office might be assigned to this detail 24/7, right? So that is an awful lot of overtime, right? And man hours.
Pernesti says all of this will likely stack up to a hefty bill for the county, and adds as the county moves forward in taking on the Kohberger case, it will serve as a test of their abilities to host more high-profile murder cases in the future.
The knowledge and the wisdom that they obtained from this one, maybe the Valadebo case, right? They only get better as each case goes along, right? I think folks are in good hands in Ada County. They're good people.
Jury selection in the Kohberger case is set to start July 30th, with opening arguments aiming for August 11th. Chris.
All right, after a windy day today, we've got a couple days that actually will be pretty nice, though briefly it'll get a little chilly. The full forecast coming up, but here's today's highs and lows.
And now your first alert weather.
Right now in Pocatello, things are cooling down and slowly calming down. The wind advisory expired at 8 p.m., but we're not done with those breezes yet. They will slowly go away, though. That's the good part. Now, we do have a few very nice days ahead, briefly chilly, and then it gets warmer. There is a chance for showers, mostly rain in the forecast, but overall, The forecast, at least tonight, is going to be clear and kind of breezy. Look at that. Wind speeds, teens, and you got some 20s out there. Rexburg got 3. I don't know how much I believe that because Rexburg's always pretty breezy, but Future Tracker does show those winds tapering off tonight. It does pick up a little bit midday tomorrow, so getting out of Sunday services for Palm Sunday, brunch with friends, or just hanging out, doing yard work, whatever, it is going to still be a little noticeable kind of midday, and then as we go in the afternoon, those winds do back off a little bit once again. So that is the nice part. Tomorrow, not nearly as blustery as today. Temperatures currently, well, we're in the 40s and you got a few 30s out there, but those clear skies or clearing skies means we are going to get on the chillier side for tonight. Area of low pressure moving out, high pressure does move in. So Sunday, clearing skies, winds dropping, a little cooler. Monday, Tuesday, gorgeous. 2 days where high pressure dominates, beautiful weather. Few thunder showers in the late afternoon on Tuesday, central Utah. We actually see a little bit of that trying to make its way up, and it does interact with the weak system. So Wednesday, a small shower chance. I don't think it's very big. What you will notice more is that by Thursday, temperatures do drop as far as the highs, and we do get slightly higher chance of showers on Thursday. Overall, though, it's not looking like a big system. And to be frank, we kind of hope we squeeze out a little bit of rain. We could use some, you know, it's spring. You're supposed to be getting rain this time of year. You don't want too many dry days. And frankly, it would kind of help with the dust. So hopefully we get something. All right, temperatures tonight, we got 20s and then 40s for tomorrow. So tomorrow will be cooler. But with the wind tapering off, I think in general, people are going to like the day better. We got 52 tomorrow in Rexburg and St. Anthony, 44 Driggs and Jackson, 46 for Island Park. Here's that Jackson forecast for you. Plenty of sun, too. In fact, we keep that sunshine through Tuesday. Tuesday looks to be the nicest day in the forecast. That's when we're going to have plenty of sun. Temperatures are warm, not too windy quite yet. It does pick up by Wednesday, so that's when everything aligns very nicely. 52 Arco, 48 Mackey, Chalice, and Salmon, both 54. Salmon, you break the 70 mark on Tuesday. That's going to feel real good. And again, Wednesday into Thursday, chance of showers. Backs off, though, as we get towards the weekend. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the Central Snake River Plain. 55 Aberdeen, 54 Blackfoot. Rigby makes it to 53 tomorrow. There's that Pocatello forecast. How about 74 on Tuesday? Yeah, that's looking nice. And then it does get a little more unsettled Wednesday, Thursday. Finally, you do see Easter weekend. Temperatures actually close to average for this time of year, so nothing unusual. As far as rain chances, looks like it's going to be on the dry side. We do have a chance for some showers come Monday, but as of right now, Easter weekend is looking pretty good, so hopefully that means Easter egg hunts should be pretty fun for the kiddos. That's the full forecast. We'll have more right after this.
Electronics, including smartphones and computer monitors, will be exempt from President Trump's reciprocal tariffs. The exemption applies to products entering the U.S. or that were removed from warehouses by April 5th. The move comes after the Trump administration imposed a tariff rate of 145% on Chinese goods imported to the U.S. The tariffs would have a major impact on tech giants like Apple, since the majority of its phones are produced in China. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We'll take a look at the score of Game 4 of the Mountain Division Final. And as you can see, your Idaho Falls Spud Kings have defeated the Ogden Mustangs in 4 games and are now moving on to the Dineen Cup Championship in Wayne, New Jersey. So the Spud Kings are going quite a ways away for that one, almost all the way to the Eastern Seaboard.
Familiar territory for you. Yeah. You're saying it's like 5 minutes away from where you grew up.
Hometown. Yeah, it's my
awesome.
hometown. So who would have thought that? So, I mean, what a game! They win it in overtime. By the way, I was I've had it up here literally the whole day. I've been watching the whole night. Really big game. So your Spud Kings are moving on to the Dineen Cup Championship. Cool. So I mean,
for all those that can't go, can like Mr. and Mrs. Sislo like represent us? Are they willing to embrace this?
We can get them some jerseys.
I think we need to.
All right. Well, thank you for staying up with us. We'll be back again tomorrow. We hope you have a good night.
Local News 8 is now available on any of these streaming services and devices.